Oh, Ubisoft!
Friends, making fun of Konami is a great laugh, but it's not the only corporate cock in town. Ubisoft is a regular target of the Jimquisition because it regularly does terrible, awful, or just plain stupid things. To wit, I've started a new series called Oh Ubisoft, where we look at some of the clueless, stupid, or just plain greedy things that Ubisoft likes to do. Such as, that time it managed to fuck up Tetris somehow, or how it lied routinely about DRM, or this week, on the debut episode of Oh Ubisoft, let's talk about Beyond Good and Evil 2. Beyond Good and Evil 2 has been long awaited for many years, and people were excited at some teaser art that was recently revealed, along with the news, the exciting news, that Beyond Good and Evil 2 was in pre-production. Yeah. The problem with that is it kind of exposes Ubisoft as kind of a dishonest prick of a company, since Beyond Good and Evil 2 was announced in about 2008. It was about 2008 when the first teaser trailer for it was shown, and over the years Ubisoft has said many times that it's being made, that it's being worked on, that it's in production. Michel Ancel has said several times that he's working on it. Even the CEO, Yves Guillemot, has, and I said that really quickly so that you could tell I don't know how to pronounce it properly, he said himself that it's in production, that it's being worked on, that it's been worked on. At least once a year, over the past several years, Ubisoft has said something about Beyond Good and Evil 2 being in production. It's even been used to sell games. Ubisoft in the past has said, oh, buy Beyond Good and Evil HD when that comes out, because that'll guarantee that we'll bring out Beyond Good and Evil 2. I mean, they never said it'll guarantee, but they said it'd be a good sign that they should bring it out. Sorry, you should bring out the game you already announced. What? They did the same thing with Rayman Origins as well. Using Beyond Good and Evil 2 as basically a carrot on the end of a stick to make you buy other games. And suddenly we get this new announcement that it's in pre-production. Pre-production, not in production, not being worked on, not nearly done for something that was announced in 2008. Pre-production. Let me readjust my HUD and just point out that exposes Ubisoft as a bollock peddler. Pre-production, not in production, despite year after year of saying, oh yeah, it's coming, it's being worked on, it's fine, and suddenly we find out not even started doing it. Oh, Ubisoft, you liars.
Oh, Ubisoft!
It's fitting that we just had an episode about EA, because we're going to chat about the EA of the EU, Ubisoft. What have those wacky fuckers been up to this time? Well, it's Watch Dogs 2 time, it's around the corner, and it's following in the footsteps of its predecessor, with a spreadsheet required to check out what you're going to get in all of the multiple collector's editions that are available for the game. For fuck's sake. Let's have a look at what's available, shall we? Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. Fucking lock screen. Gloves. I really should have brought this up before I started. We are looking at the Standard Edition, $59.99, the Deluxe Edition, $69.99, the Gold Edition, $99.99, the San Francisco Edition, $114.99, the Wrench Jr. Robot Collector's Pack, $165.99 fucking cents! Whoa! Oh, and the Return of Dead Set Collector's Case, $165.99. I almost missed that one, Jesus Christ. So we need another chart. Sorry that I'm just looking at my phone. I realise it's rude, but I've got to keep an eye on exactly what we're looking at here. So you need a chart to work out whether you're going to get the game, the deluxe pack, the season pass, the lithographs, the map of San Fran, the DedSec themed laptop stickers, the Marcus figure, the Marcus scarf and cap replica, the exclusive 64-page art book. Jesus Christ, the DedSec art Marcus figurine and the Wrench Jr. robot. I mean, you can more or less guess that the robot's going to be in the robot one, but fuck me running. And this is on top of the trailer they recently released for a season pass, which basically seems to have a fuckload of content in it that they already know about that makes you wonder why it isn't in the main game. Just one of those situations. That trailer really is a celebration of everything ostentatious and tacky and shit in AAA gaming.
With the Season Pass, the experience of Watch Dogs 2 becomes even bigger, more immersive, and definitely more T-bone, 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 T-bone. And take on smarter and more lethal enemies with an all-new difficulty level, the massive Human Conditions DLC, 3 new hour-long story missions, a brand new co-op mode, and an all-new story mission. The Season Pass also gives you immediate access to fresh outfits, vehicles, weapons, and more. In Watch Dogs 2, players will experience a massive T-bone.
You're so greedy! And I'm saying that, and look at the size of me, I love the taste of food, and I'm calling you greedy! Stop it! Just... if you need spreadsheets to let customers know what's in multiple versions of your game, you've gone too far, okay? Spreadsheet time is too far! That's bad time! Just stop it, alright? I'm not actually that mad about it. It's just baffling and almost hilarious as an example of just the level of near Fall of Rome decadence that the AAA big budget game industry has reached. Just that, I mean, oh god, the avarice, the naked, nude, untastefully nude avarice. It's unbelievable. By the way, Ubisoft, how are we on review copies for Watch Dogs 2? It's just, you know, everyone's blacklisting me left, right, and centre, and it'd be nice if I could get... I'm not getting one.
Oh, Ubisoft!
Time for another edition of Oh Ubisoft. These are all the stories about Ubisoft, the EA of Europe, the company that just makes you roll your eyes and go, oh Ubisoft. Here's a story we missed last month. 5 Ubisoft executives have been fined by France's stock market regulator for insider trading. A combined $1.4 million is expected to be paid by 5 individuals, one of whom is Ubisoft Montpellier's CEO. So that's nice, isn't it? The CEO in question has denied the charges, which have been levied against them, and not just accused, but they've actually been given the fine. So after research and findings, the regulator said, no, you are insider trading. But the CEO says that the executives in question could have had no idea of the market that was coming up. The thing that was in question was the CEO sold stock in the company just before delays were announced for The Crew and the original Watch Dogs. And the CEO says, well, we couldn't have known these games would be delayed. And I'm not here to test the veracity of that. I'm not here to question that claim. The Jimquisition has never featured an opinion, ever. We're a fact-based, objective show. And also, I don't want to be sued for libel again. I try and have one libel lawsuit on the go at any given time. So we're not going to touch that too closely, but I did just want to point this out, because some people did bring it up and mention that I haven't covered it on Yo Ubisoft, which is really the only thing you can say to any of this. Oh, Ubisoft. And I'm going to stop now because, as you can tell, I'm rambling because I had to do several takes of some stuff today because things weren't recording. And I'm sweating under the lights and probably looking like a horrible sex pervert on camera with the sweat and the breathing. So I'm going to stop. Oh, Ubisoft.
Oh, Ubisoft!
The Division's getting microtransactions. I mean, it should hardly be surprising. It's Ubisoft. Ubisoft loves fucking microtransactions. But it's interesting that the game's been out for so long, and now they've surreptitiously snuck them in. Not that they're calling them microtransactions. This is something I've been noticing in the game industry. They don't use that word anymore. They try and avoid it as best they can, as they still try and normalise the idea of microtransactions, while sidestepping all of the bad publicity associated with them. So they've mentioned a premium currency. You can get a premium currency in The Division, which of course is just for cosmetic items, which I've talked about in the past, and you can go look at previous episodes if you want to have that argument. The usual excuses are in play for these premium credits. We're providing more ways that players can express themselves and customise the look of their character. That's how it's always presented. It's choices. We're just offering choice. That's what makes our game so valuable. It's got bells on you cynical fucks. Just admit you want more money. I'd respect that a lot more. Anyway, that's it. Nothing groundbreaking. But this little sub-series is called Oh Ubisoft. We're rolling our eyes because we're not surprised. Oh Ubisoft. You fucking greedy fucks.
Oh Ubisoft.
Well, kids, that was a fun episode of the Gymquisition, but now it's time for Oh Ubisoft, our recurring news segment where we talk about all the news that makes you roll your eyes and go, oh Ubisoft. For Honor is the subject of yet another... For Honor is the subject of this week's little excursion, with news that they've added some new emotes that cost a pretty penny. They cost about 7,000 steel per emote, which is very pricey considering that game's economy. Steel, of course, can be bought with real money because it's an Ubisoft game. Of course, there are fucking microtransactions. But it's the excuse given by Ubisoft that really takes the cake. We never had an intention for you to unlock everything in the game. We applied RPG mechanics to a fighting game. It's like World of Warcraft. You would not try to unlock everything or all the character or in a MOBA. Yeah, it's exactly like World of Warcraft or a fucking MOBA. You disingenuous hack jobs. Let's all remember one thing about Ubisoft. Ubisoft cannot be trusted, ever. Maybe the least trustworthy developer in the AAA space. Always goes back on its word, whether it's DRM, whether it's downloadables, whether it's microtransactions. Whenever Ubisoft says something, there's often a good bit of documented proof that they said something else not all that long ago. So their excuse is bullshit just because Ubisoft said it, and the second reason why it's bullshit is because no corporation puts microtransactions in a game and expects people not to buy them. That's such a ludicrous excuse, and I'm sick of developers trotting it out all the time with this. Oh, you don't have to buy them. We never intended you to unlock things. We don't want you to have this stuff. Yes, they do, and they want you to pay for it. No company puts microtransactions in a video game not wanting them bought. Ubisoft, we're not fucking stupid. Oh, Ubisoft.
Oh Ubisoft.
So today's Oh Ubisoft segment was going to be a sort of an ironic celebration because Far Cry 5 was announced early. Ubisoft has been announcing all of its games ahead of E3. So there was this blessed moment, this amazing week where Far Cry 5 was announced and there was no pre-order bonus for it. That was incredible! And then, a couple of days before I filmed this, they announced the pre-order bonus. But let's just take a moment to celebrate that glorious, rare, almost miraculous time when just for a matter of days, there was a Far Cry game that didn't have pre-order details shoved out at the same time. I just think that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I mean, obviously, I really think it's a sad indictment on the video game industry that something should be notable that it doesn't have a pre-order bonus announced at the same time as the game. But that's neither here nor there. When Far Cry 4 was announced, I saw the commercial for the pre-order before I saw the game itself, before I saw the box art, before I saw the game itself, before I saw anything about the game. The first thing I saw, the first bit of news out the gate about Far Cry 4 was its fucking pre-order bonus, and that just typifies both pre-order culture and Ubisoft's hunger for it at the same time. And yet, for a brief period, Far Cry 5 was just a game. No DLC, no microtransactions, no pre-order bonuses. It was just a game. I mean, some people tried to make it about politics because it wasn't a safe space for them, but for the rest of us, for most of us, it was just a game. And then Ubisoft announced its pre-order bonus. Oh, Ubisoft!
Oh, Ubisoft!
Disrespectful. But a fitting place for Oh, Ubisoft! All the news that's fit to make you roll your eyes and say, Oh, Ubisoft! They changed their logo. It looks like a white dog turd in the summer. Like what you used to see when you were a kid. It's exactly what it looks like. A big swirl load of shit. Just after I got new lights on the Jimquisition lectern to change colour to blue, Ubisoft's colour, when I do Oh Ubisoft, there's no blue to be seen. It is bereft of blue. It's just white now. Just dog turd white. It looks rubbish, it's boring, and I hate it. Oh, Ubisoft. And don't think that I didn't notice the joke about ironic in your E3, pre-E3, sizzle E3, pre-E3 trailer. I saw it. I saw you try and dad joke your way out of that one. And if you think that's going to stop me making fun of you for using iconic a lot, it probably will because you're too self-aware, but I'll find other things. Because I'm Jim fucking Sterling's son, and you are just, oh, Ubisoft.
Oh, Ubisoft!
It's time once again for Oh Ubisoft, bringing you the news that makes you roll your eyes and say, Oh Ubisoft. Today we're going to talk about For Honor. Do you remember For Honor? It's like the Battleborn of multiplayer games. It had a strong start because it's a hyped Ubisoft game, but funnily enough, having terrible connection problems and not much in the way of content led to the game losing 95% of its players. Well, not if you're Ubisoft, because that figure becomes fake news. Quite literally. You see, despite games reporters using verifiable data to look at the huge fucking drop-off that For Honor's player base has enjoyed, Ubisoft's community manager came out and blasted those reports as fake news. I'm not kidding. Now, it's unsure whether or not this was used in jest or not. I'm assuming the use of the term fake news was, hilarious memes. But it does seem that Ubisoft is a little bit sensitive about the fact that a lot of people realised For Honor was, well, bollocks. Seriously, one of the quotes is, "We have a lot of players in For Honor." I mean, that might be relatively true compared to many other games, but that doesn't really say contextually, respectively, what that means. The amount of players lost has been atrocious. So for Ubisoft to come out and just brush off the reporting as fake news, even in jest, while clearly stating that they have a lot of players to try and undermine those reports, well, it's a little bit desperate. Ubisoft, come on. Interestingly, a similar thing happened with The Division, which has come up in Ubisoft a lot because Ubisoft has lied about it before. That game also had a very strong launch and lost a lot of players, and still might be relatively successful. But it says a lot, I think, about Ubisoft's approach to online games, to MMO-ish experiences, to microtransaction layered multiplayer experiences, that people buy them, play them, and then think, fuck 'em. And the rest of us just look at it all, roll our eyes and go, oh, Ubisoft. And that's it.
Oh, Ubisoft!
I was going to keep the helmet on for this bit, but it's sweaty as fuck in there. Anyway, here's our Ubisoft. It's that news roundup we do here and there. All the news that's fit to make you roll your eyes and go, oh, Ubisoft. This time around, Rainbow Six Siege is removing maps. Some maps in Rainbow Six Siege are being removed, reworked and put back in. But Ubisoft has said that because of data sizes, some of the maps being taken out will never come back. After the coming season of Rainbow Six Siege content, because of course games come in seasons now, there are some maps that are just going to be taken out and not put back in. Content is going to quite literally disappear. Ubisoft's whole data size thing is vague and sounds a little bit bollocksy, but I do think it's funny that it sounds like Ubisoft has just brought out so much DLC, they're not allowed to bring out any more and have to remove stuff if they want to put new stuff in, which just sounds so very, very Ubisoft. But at any rate, it just seems a bit shitty that content is going away. And I guess there's a new thing that's going to be happening in the game industry. That's just a new thing to get used to. Maps in games just disappearing. The idea of a game removing content post-launch sets a rather worrying precedent, sets a rather worrying tone in an industry that loves you to pre-buy stuff, to buy into seasons with their passes and stuff. And not only do you not know what you're going to get with that stuff, now, because of this, fuck knows if you're ever going to get to keep it. This news follows the fact that Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, or whatever it's called, is coming out with a $20 season pass that includes weapon skins or whatever, and access to story DLC that's coming. So there's another game that's going to cost $20 more than the MSRP leads you to believe, because these season passes are becoming more and more crucial, and they're containing more and more content pertinent to the game, more and more content that looks like it probably should have been part of the game to begin with. But with regards to the true cost of games, we'll be talking about that in future. For now, let's just roll our eyes and go, oh, Ubisoft.
Oh, Ubisoft.
Just a regular reminder from me to you that Ubisoft is the crown prince of lies when it comes to the game industry. Despite saying on record that DRM doesn't work, you see, I remember it, I fucking remember these things. Despite saying DRM doesn't work, Ubisoft has basically tripled down on the DRM in Assassin's Creed Origins. It wasn't enough that it crammed de novo into the PC version of South Park The Fractured But Whole, it's not enough that Steam acts as a sort of DRM anyway, and Ubisoft has its own glorified DRM in the form of Uplay, a more friendly face to corporate control. No, Assassin's Creed Origins has de novo, and it has VM Protect, which means if you count Uplay and Steam as well, that's four fucking slices of DRM from the DRM pie. But of course, DRM doesn't work, does it, Ubisoft? You said so yourself. You said so yourself! Users have claimed that this has tanked the game's performance on PC. Ubisoft says that the tankage of performance is not due to the anti-tamper software, but Ubisoft is sort of a noted liar, so I'm just not going to believe whatever they say, whether it's true or not. Fuck you, Ubisoft. Fuck Ubisoft. Whether you believe them or not, what is true is the fact that Assassin's Creed Origins on PC is lousy with DRM, and Ubisoft knows full well DRM is a load of bollocks. Put it in anyway, because it wants to put a big middle finger right up the arsehole of people who actually paid for the game, aka the only people who, in the long run, are ever actually affected by DRM. Oh, Ubisoft.
Oh, Ubisoft.
It's been a year since we last heard about Steep coming to the Nintendo Switch. At least that's the last time Ubisoft confirmed it was still coming. Folks were looking forward to some open world snow hijinks on the go, but it would appear that folks are going to have to keep waiting forever because the port isn't coming anymore. Last August, Ubisoft said it was still coming. This August, Ubisoft has said no, except it didn't officially say no. Someone had to ask them on Twitter and get a personal response, which we've all now just found. Way to go, Ubisoft. This, by the way, is yet another example of why pre-orders are bollocks, because Steep for Switch did end up for pre-sale on certain places, so those are some refunds that are going to have to be made, aren't they? The news came after the official Steep account posted a picture, just a picture from Steep, and someone replied to it asking if there was any news on the Switch version. So it is that we got our news in a Twitter reply, no official announcement. It said, "Hey, we are wholly dedicated to supporting the live game and made the decision to stop Steep development on the Nintendo Switch platform to focus on bringing new live content and challenges to Steep players instead. We'll have more exciting news to share." So I wouldn't call that exciting news. Don't say it's more exciting news, you take the more out, because this isn't exciting news for there to be more of. At the time this quote-unquote announcement was made, Steep was still shown on Nintendo's official website. It has since been taken down now that this news has come to light. So Ubisoft basically couldn't be fucking bothered to let anybody know that they'd stopped work on the Switch port. They just stopped making it and didn't think to let anybody who was looking forward to it or anybody that might have pre-bought it know. So that's a shame anyway, considering the Switch is a giant success right now, and third-party games are actually enjoying their own successes on the platform. Ubisoft especially loves new consoles and really enjoys flooding them with shovelware, but they've not really done that with the Switch. They did the whole Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle game, but otherwise we've not seen the slew of port jobs that we normally see. And when I think about that, I think about some of the other publishers that haven't jumped on board the Switch train. Your Warner Brothers is, your Activision Blizzard, your Electronic Arts is, your Ubisofts. And they're all the kind of AAA publishers that have jumped aboard the gravy train known as live services, which makes me think they don't see the potential for microtransactions and whatnot in the Switch, so they just can't be fucked. They did clamber all over the Wii U though, and might have gotten burned there because the Wii U was, well, we all know what happened with the Wii U, but now that we've seen what the Switch is capable of, their absence is quite glaring. And then you look at some of the AAA publishers that are enjoying success on the Switch. You look at Bethesda with their Wolfenstein and their Doom, and you think, oh yeah, well that's one of the publishers that isn't on board with this whole live service thing, at least not yet. We'll have to see how Fallout 76 goes. It's just a hypothesis. The Switch is a place where you can make money, but it isn't where you can make obscene bucket loads of gold by selling obscene bucket loads of pretend gold. Or at least not many companies are trying. I mean, Fortnite's doing fucking gangbusters, but historically Nintendo's not been the place where shitty monetization practices take root. Ubisoft, fittingly enough, is focusing on the live seasons for Steep. In any case, it's quite astounding that Ubisoft didn't think to let anybody know about this. That puts Ubisoft on the same level as YouTube, YouTubisoft, since YouTube is quite famous for making changes that affect people directly and then not telling anybody unless they're asked on Twitter about it. It's not like the loss of Steep is going to make any Nintendo Switch fan cry necessarily, but neglecting to inform anybody about it unless you're asked on Twitter is, well, a little bit bollocksy. I guess Switch fans will have to content themselves with so many games, almost too many games, which, let's face it, isn't the worst position you could be in. Now let us all go back to Dead Cells and pretend Ubisoft doesn't exist, which is the best sort of life.